Despicable Me 3 is the third entry in the Despicable Me franchise, fourth if you include the Minions spin-off, and it sees the return as Gru, played by Steve Carell, and Lucy, played by Kristen Wiig. They're just married, and they're still in the anti-villain league, and they are fighting off villains, and they have their 3 daughters, and in this movie there's a new villain in the world called Balthazar Brat, played by Trey Parker, who was a child star in the 80s who got his show kicked off the air, and so he wants revenge on Hollywood and want to take over the world for not giving him any Emmys. And at this time, Gru finds out that he has a secret twin brother named Drew. Gru and Drew. Very creative. And at this time, Lucy is just getting into motherhood, so she is trying to prove herself as a mother to Gru's 3 daughters, and also the Minions have their own side plot where they go to prison and jail. There's a lot. Now I've liked the Despicable Me movies. Despicable Me 1 and 2 I really liked. I thought they were funny, and I thought that they had good character arcs for Gru and where he goes as a person. Minions I tolerated. I don't hate the Minions. I'm not a cold-hearted bastard. I even have my own little Minions plush toy who we're keeping for the review. Let's name him Mel. This is Mel. And so I'm definitely interested in where they were going to go for this third movie, and the trailers didn't really seem to really focus on a certain aspect of the movie, which I was kind of confused about, but Despicable Me 2 kind of did the same thing, so I wasn't really worried. Should I have been worried? Kind of. Despicable Me 3 is messy. There's so much happening in this movie, it is just overblown, and it's even too short for everything that's happening in it. The main 2 plots of this movie is Balthazar Brat trying to take over the world and destroying Hollywood, and Gru finding out he has a twin brother. Those 2 plots don't really mesh well at all. It seems like they're 2 different movies that were brought into one. And at the same time, you have Lucy's character trying to show herself as a mother to the 3 daughters, which is extremely glossed over and maybe takes up 5 minutes of screen time. It doesn't have any really impact towards the end of the movie, and it just seems unnecessary. Then there's the Minions. Again, I'm not a Minions hater, but I feel like in Despicable Me 1 they had a point to be in the movie. Despicable Me 2, they even had their own storyline. Despicable Me 3, the Minions, completely useless in the movie. The first problem, they separate the Minions from Gru. That was just a bad idea. The second problem, if you take the Minions out of the movie, it is the same exact movie. They have no plot-driven impact on this movie, and it was kind of just filler scenes for a movie that was 80 minutes long. When you need filler in an hour and 20 minutes, you know that there's something wrong. And there's also a side plot of the young daughter trying to find a unicorn, which again, in the long run of the movie, has no purpose of being. It just brings a new pet into the ending of the movie. It has really no purpose, and it's just a 5th plot line in this movie that doesn't need to be there in this short-ass movie. And for the humor, I've laughed in previous Despicable Me movies. I just feel like I've laughed a lot less in this Despicable Me movie. Not saying that there aren't funny moments, I just feel like there are not as many funny moments as there have been in previous movies. While Minions was like a nice studio cash grab, it was a great marketing technique. I think Despicable Me 3 is completely unnecessary and was an extreme cash grab by the studio with no effort put into it. It's lazy. In one of the first scenes when Gru and Lucy get fired from the anti-villain league, it's not a spoiler, it happens in the first 10 minutes of the movie. There is a head of the anti-villain league who was in Despicable Me 2. For some reason, he gets fired automatically, and this new head is brought back in, who's a hothead, and immediately she fires Gru and Lucy, throws them out of a blimp, and then they're out of a job. That would be fine, but this character is never seen again, and it seems like the only reason why they brought this new character is to fire Gru and Lucy, even though they could have had a better script in which the old director could have just fired Gru and Lucy. It doesn't make any sense why they needed to get this new lady. It just felt completely unnecessary and random to get Jenny Slate in there for 2 minutes. I'm saying a lot of negatives of the movie. This isn't a completely horrible movie. The movie is somewhat funny at times. I still like the Minions despite their plotline being completely useless. The animation, more while cartoony, it is still good and very well detailed and bright and colorful. The kids will enjoy it. The parents will be fine sitting in the auditorium. I felt like while the other movies were more films, this is more like a cartoon. It's like the first season of a TV show that had too many plot lines that they squished into 80 minutes. And Steve Carell, I still like as Gru. I think he may be one of the funnier aspects of this movie. I just love his voice. He does a really good job at it. But by far the best part about this movie is Balthazar Brat, played by Trey Parker. Every time he was on the scene, I loved what he could do with the character. Trey Parker, I feel like, is great in voice animation. South Park has definitely proven that. And I find it so weird. In his Balthazar Brat character, you hear Randy Marsh so much. And I just couldn't separate the 2 characters. Even when they show a younger version of Balthazar Brat, you hear Cartman and Stan. It's weird. I like how they made his character so self-obsessed and 80s driven. I really thought that it was new and different for the characters. And I think it was more of Despicable Me's more developed characters, which I really liked. But yeah, Despicable Me 3, it was completely unnecessary. They don't need to make another one. They did not even need to make this one. It felt like a cash grab from the studio. It was extremely lazy, overstuffed to its core, it was somewhat funny. It does have good animation and a great villain, but there's so much better out there in the summer, and Despicable Me is just a fine movie. So that's Despicable Me 3. Have you seen the movie? Have you not seen the movie? Whatever you think, you could put in the comments below. Maybe I'll read it. Maybe I won't. Thank you as always for watching, and if you haven't, you can watch my last video right over here. Or you can watch this upcoming video right over here. Good job, Mel. Thank you as always for watching. Hope to see you next time.